Hey cats, it's Ed MidsoleBud here. Is one of these two models the greatest running shoe of all time? Maybe? Let's discuss. Thanks for tuning in, cats. Always appreciated. If you're yet to do so, help support the channel by hitting that subscribe button and also clicking the bell below for notifications when I roll out the new videos for you. If you don't fancy becoming a member of the channel, you can also support us by giving us a super thanks, clicking the icon just below. Also give this video a thumbs up, like, and share it with your running buddies. With the release of that ALPHAFLY NEXT Percent 2, a lot of people are asking me, is this the GOAT of running shoes? The greatest of all time? There's loads of discussion whether this is better than the previous version, or even better than the VAPORFLY NEXT Percent as well. I've got a load of miles into this one already, and I'm coming to some interesting conclusions. I think that this is the greatest running shoe of all time, for a very specific set of people. I think that this is the shoe for the mass market, and that makes it the shoe for the majority of runners. I think the VAPORFLY NEXT Percent will still be the GOAT running shoe for those faster paced athletes. You know, we got the bare minimum of materials here that you need for the distance. Nothing more, nothing less. I think many runners want a nice stable underfoot feel with their marathon shoe. For training and racing events, I feel the tweaks in the ALPHAFLY NEXT Percent 2 really do make this the winner. I think it just makes it a more attractive shoe for the general public. I think that the original version of the ALPHAFLY, perhaps with that lower drop, was a little bit too aimed at those elite athletes. That's quite a small cross-section of people really when you think about the general public as a whole. I think the way the ALPHAFLY was put together and some of the specifications of that shoe, it just made it feel like it was perhaps unobtainable. It was a little bit too niche. That small cross-section of people that it appealed to on release is quite a small customer base really, and I think with Kipchoge creating such a huge awareness and increase in participation in terms of running, I do think that Kipchoge has had a big hand in increasing the popularity of running recently, much as Michael Air Jordan did back in the 1980s and the 90s. People know Kipchoge, but they can't run at Kipchoge's pace. I mean, very few people can, pretty much him. That's the only person that can do that. But I think if you want to cash in on that in terms of a shoe, then you're going to need something that's going to actually work for a broader mass market. The shoe that works for all runners. Well, aside from the Pegasus, I suppose. That's been the shoe for all runners, or every runner, over the last few years. When I first reviewed the shoe, I did point out the message inside the box of the ALPHAFLY NEXT Percent 2. There's a quote there from BOWERMAN, the master shoe innovator. We must think about that quote for just a moment. Bill Bowerman suggested that for every ounce of weight that can be removed from a running shoe, so that's like 28.35 grams, you save a runner from lifting 200 pounds per mile. So 200 pounds equates to about 90,718 grams. So I guess Bowerman was looking at how many steps that runners were taking over a mile. Obviously over a marathon, that's an incredible amount. Obviously stride length has got a big bearing on this also. So I guess those who increase their stride length as they get faster will perhaps get a benefit from a lighter shoe, as I guess it takes less energy to lift a slightly lighter shoe up. But also cadence-based runners will probably be quids in as well, as they're taking more steps over the course of a mile, or 5k or 10k or half marathon or a marathon. They're just having to lift up less weight each time to take each step. Now, of course, over a marathon, we all start to lose energy, we start to lose our form. It's been proved, doesn't it, that even those top elite level athletes start to lose form and their heel striking perhaps a little more towards the end of a marathon. You know, even if training's absolutely on point, you just don't know what's going to happen in a marathon. So back to the shoes, that extra cushion, perhaps the extra surface area you've got in the heel. There's more outsole surface area here as well on the ALPHAFLY NEXT Percent 2. There's clearly a trade-off here in terms of weight. It certainly isn't following Bowerman's formula, is it? This thing's more a Volvo estate, really. This one's a very comfortable and controlled ride, perhaps lacking a little bit in terms of reverse turning circle. Then you got like a Porsche, which just goes really fast and has got the bare essentials, which is kind of where this shoe comes in. That's very much where the VAPORFLY NEXT Percent sits for me. I mean, in hand, this shoe is just much lighter. 225 grams, spot on 8 ounces in my UK size 11, or 280 grams or 9.8 ounces for my UK size 11. So it's 55 grams difference between the two shoes. So close to 2 ounces effectively. So in BOWERMAN's terms, does that add on another 400 pounds per mile? You're lifting 400 pounds extra? Is that right? Is there really that much more energy return from the Air Zoom pods and the additional ZOOMX foam to offset that? As such, I very much stand by my original view of the ALPHAFLY. It's a shoe that's going to save you in the latter parts of a much longer run. It's going to save you a little bit of time. It's going to save you a little bit of energy, perhaps. It's going to help you in terms of when that form starts to drift. You might be landing in the rear of the shoe a little bit. You might have completely capitulated. It might just keep throwing you forward a little bit more. This one's no out and out speed session shoe, though I can run some really fast reps in this one. I don't think it's ever been that out and out speed shoe though. Certainly for the majority of people. Perhaps this is why more men and women at that elite level are still using the VAPORFLY NEXT % as opposed to the ALPHAFLY. I just feel they don't need all that extra cushion that it brings. For mere mortals like myself, I still need a little bit of extra squash, maybe a slightly more stable base, and the weight is just less important. Stark realities, I'm not the slowest runner in the world, nor am I the fastest. But in a marathon, the ALPHAFLY NEXT % 2 would absolutely be the shoe that I reach for if I was going to run one tomorrow. I'm not going to do that because I've got lots of other things going on, including doing some gardening. But it's a no-brainer. That's the one I'd go for. So yeah, for me, in terms of the GOAT marathon shoe, it would be this. I don't have the form, the power, or the pace that Andy the Fod Runner has. That is the shoe that he would choose. Andy's a much more capable athlete than I am, and I don't think he needs all that extra cushion. Think of the incredible weight saving he's going to get if he utilised this shoe over the ALPHAFLY in a marathon. For those shorter races where I can keep my stickman, lanky, loping form together, no worries using the VAPORFLY NEXT %. As proof of my half marathon PB back in the Bristol half marathon last year. When I did use the ALPHAFLY NEXT % over the half marathon distance, I just found it to be complete overkill. That's where the weight mattered to me. It just felt like I had loads of cushion that I didn't need. So for many people, the VAPORFLY NEXT % will still be the GOAT, but I think past the half marathon distance, this is the shoe that I would choose, without any doubt. Still very disappointing though in the smell stakes. What's your take on this one, guys? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. The observant ones will have noticed that I've got the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3 in for testing. Garden Centre. I'll tell you what, the foam here feels a lot softer than the version 1 and 2, and there's quite a bit more of it as well. I do think they've increased the width here in the heel just a little bit. I'm liking the Ukraine colorway as well. I shall have an initial review of this one for you very, very soon. Stay tuned. Musical interlude time. You guys know I'm running the A6 10K this Sunday up in London. There's one album that always reminds me of London, or at least the city life, and that's Surf from Roddy Frame. Doesn't sound like a very city name, but it is. This is a great acoustic album, and it really does display some of Roddy Frame's superb guitar playing. I love the track Small World. It's got a fantastic, beautiful riff. Roddy Frame always has some magical chord progressions that sort of hold all the songs together. I Can't Start Now is a fantastic track as well. I think this one was released back in 2002, so it makes it 20 years old. I can't quite believe it. Big Ben and high-class music are worth checking out from this album too. Roddy Frame, a really underrated musician, fantastic guitar player. I think he's been back in Edwyn Collins recently on some tours. Let's hope he produces some more music of his own, because the tracks on here are absolutely fantastic. Roddy Frame with Surf. Thanks for tuning in, people. It is always appreciated. Support the channel with a super thanks below if you've got a question you want to get directly to me. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications. Also, give this video a thumbs up, like, and share it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you